And it's Ephesians 4:7. Now, this is Paul talking. He said, but grace was given. Now, listen to this. Grace was given to each one of us according to the measure of Christ's gift. Who's it for? Who's it for, these gifts? It's for all of us. It's for the church. Who's it given to? You. There's not a person in this room who is a part of the family of God who you have been given something specific that God intends for you to fulfill in His church. To fulfill one of these things. First thing to notice here is that it is God who gives the grace. This isn't about us making something happen, self-identifying. This is something that comes from God Himself, from Jesus Himself. He gives grace to do this to each one of us according to a measure. And this is the important point I want to make for today. What does it mean in measure? A measure. See, measure, throughout the New Testament, a lot of it is not talking about measure. Measure is pretty self-explanatory. You're measuring something. Some of it uses literally like a measuring stick. Think about in Revelation where the angel was sent with a measuring stick to measure out the New Jerusalem to the kingdom of God, or, grain or whatever. But measure can also be like a property line, a boundary line. And in this case, in the context, I believe this is what measure is talking about. There is a property line, a measure that we have each been given for where we are. Ever had a word where somebody came to you or you got it yourself, and man, God showed you this? This is one I hear all the time. People, somebody will come up and say, my whole life, I've gotten this word over and over again that I am to be a pastor. Great. I believe that. And what they're wanting, but what they're doing is that they think that because they had that word to be a pastor and they're equating it to being the leader of a church, they're waiting for us to go, yeah, I see it, come, lead this thing. But that's not how it works. That may be the role, the gift that you're to plug into, but it is a process of growing into that gift. So what we a lot of times will say, well, who are you pastoring right now? What is your measure you have been given right now? Are you caring, if you're married, are you caring for your spouse? Are you pastoring your spouse? Either way, these are not, there is no gender specifics on any of these. It's for any man or woman. So what are you doing now? How are you pastoring, if you have a family, your family? That's the measure that you have right now. See, so not only are we asking, what is the grace that God is giving me for an appointment, but now what is the measure? What are the boundary lines? What's that property line where I can work right now? Because this is what happens. If we step outside of that property line, I can guarantee you what's going to happen is this. It's all going to diminish. The influence, the effectiveness, whatever it is, all of a sudden you're just like, I lost it. Why isn't it working here? I know I'm supposed to do this. I know I'm supposed to pastor people. Why is it that when I do this, all of a sudden it's just not working? Nobody's listening to me. Nobody cares about me, whatever. But if I'm right here, everything seems to work. Well, that's because the measure that you have been given, or I have been given, is for this, and we're not ready for this yet.